welcome to the show. I am delighted to have Clint Harp here, a guest I've been wanting to have come and sit in with me for a long time, years, I
Oh,
think. Years,
thank you
I
so
think.
much, Ann.
But your story is one of persistence
Mhm.
and humility and creative calling. Uh, Long before you were recognized on television, you were a craftsman, working with your hands, learning through trial and error, as
Mhm.
craftsmen do, long hours in the
Yes.
shop. So, woodworking, well, it wasn't just a skill for you, it was a language, it was a way to express yourself.
Mhm.
And patience, persistence, all those kind of qualities that are necessary, and respect for the materials that carry history. And I love that because part of what you did was in restoring historic objects, which I want to talk about that some too.
Yes.
But many know you from Fixer Upper
Sure.
originally. That's how we were introduced.
Yes.
Chip and Joanna
Yep.
introduced you to the world. But then woodwork, you did woodwork and
Yep.
Restoration Road,
Yep.
and a film. The
Yes.
author.
Yeah. That's wow. You did your
Okay,
homework.
well, I'm just saying, your story goes beyond television, though. But you're
Mhm.
a builder at core, is
Yes.
what I see. Somebody who sees potential in raw materials, um, and now you're helping folks with where they're living.
Yeah.
So as a realtor, so
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a delight to have you come and
Thank you so much, Ann. That is really sweet. I am glad that we were finally able to make this happen. Yeah.
absolutely. Well, so woodworking wasn't something you just did; it was kind of a language for you.
Yeah. So woodworking was something that was in my blood because my grandfather did that for years and years. He was a builder. He built homes in Georgia. I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia. I don't know if
Okay.
you knew that. So,
I don't notice that in your accent, though.
yeah. Well,
Can you
you
sort
know,
of slip into it?
so what's a funny story about that is that I was born in Atlanta, and my parents divorced when I was really little, like I think 1.5, 2 years old. I
Oh,
can't really
really?
remember all the. Yeah. So it's
Hmm.
really all I've ever known. And my mom remarried pretty quickly to a man who got a job in Asheville, North Carolina,
Love
and
Asheville.
it's amazing, right? And so we moved up to Asheville when I was like two and a half, something like that,
Hmm.
and I would live there until I was 11 in Asheville, North Carolina. But all the while, I was still going back and forth to Atlanta every other weekend to visit my dad.
Sure.
So it was a 4-hour drive from Asheville to Atlanta, and we would meet halfway in Clayton, Georgia, at a Kentucky Fried Chicken, and do a prisoner exchange, is what I
Oh, I
called it.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and my sister and I would walk across the parking lot, like probably 30 yards. My parents didn't like each other at all.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
acrimonious,
Oh,
huh?
it's one of those,
Hmm.
and so they would park really far away from each other in the parking lot, and we would drag our suitcases across the parking lot in the prisoner swap, and anyways, so I was in Atlanta a lot. My
Hmm.
cousins, I had cousins that lived in Atlanta. All my grandparents, a lot of my aunts and uncles, all lived in Atlanta, and so I was constantly in Atlanta, getting a taste for Atlanta, and still really being raised there as well, even while I was living in Asheville, North Carolina. While I was in Asheville, though, I really picked up the accent. And I don't know where the videos are, but there were videos of me as a little kid, 7, 8, 9 years old, and I would say things like I would. It was like a Happy Father's Day video to my dad, and literally it was me going, "Hey Dad, happy Father's Day. We love you, and just want to tell you that and I mean thick as molasses, like I
Hmm.
mean very
A
very
drawl.
very thick drawl, and but I remember when I was about 11, and there was kind of talk. We had moved a bunch. So I moved, we lived in Asheville for 8 years, and I moved 8 times.
Yeah.
So we moved a bunch, and I had a feeling we were going to move again, but we were going to move out of Asheville. And we got a chance to move back to Atlanta. And I really, really wanted to move back to Atlanta. That's my hometown. I loved it.
Hmm.
And I also loved Asheville. But one of the things that I wanted to change was my accent. And I genuinely thought about it. And if you were to talk to my sister today, you would hear the accent.
Mm-hmm.
She still has it. She still has a very thick accent.
Yeah.
But I was purposefully
And
against
what age were
having
you?
11.
You were little when you decided, yeah.
I'm serious. Yeah. And years later, I heard a podcast about with somebody who kind of went through that same thing, and it really was wonderful to hear because it made me. This is why I love podcasts and stories, because as we share them, we see each other in each other's stories, and I was able to see myself in this young woman's story, and I was so thankful that I wasn't the only one that kind of had that realization. I was like, there's nothing wrong with it. I just don't want to sound like that.
Right.
Sorry, that was a long.
Yeah,
I bet you didn't see that was coming.
I love that. So back to the woodworking.
Back to building.
I mean,
yeah.
you kind of grew up.
So
learning how to do these. I think that's so crucial
Yes.
for little ones to kind of see that you could create something.
So my granddad, he built homes in Atlanta, and come to find out, what he really did, ironically enough, was he would take years ago, like in the 60s and 70s, he would take my two youngest uncles. They had 4 children, and my youngest or the youngest uncles in the bunch, David and Dean. He would take them up to like Virginia, and he would go around and take photos of like old colonial style houses and document how they were built. So all the mortise and tenon joinery, all the beams, just everything, the different kinds of lumber that they were using, all of that stuff, the tools they were using, everything. And he just documented it. There are boxes and boxes of like notes and pictures that he took in that process. And my uncles would go up with him, but they would just get like a tandem bike, and they would like ride around whatever town they were in on a tandem bike while my granddad went around and like learned about all these houses. Then he would come back to Georgia and build these houses.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And so, houses in the colonial style. And then I came along in 1977 and grew up always visiting my grandparents. Even when I was in Asheville, I would visit them. They lived on the Chattahoochee River in a house that my granddad built with a crew, and just a lovely, amazing house. And as I got old enough, my granddad started handing me the keys to the lawnmower, and things like that, and allowed me to start doing some work around, the yard and whatnot. And I had one older guy cousin, Michael. He's 10 years older than me. Everybody else was a girl, though, and my like the younger cousins. And so we didn't play too much together. And so I was always kind of looking for something to do, and my granddad would just put me to work. And eventually he started to let me go with him to this land that he bought up in North Georgia, and I would start clearing land. And then once the land was cleared, he started building a house on the land, and I got to be a little part of that process of him building that house. And so, I mean, we're talking, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. I was starting to have tools put in my hands and being exposed to things that I really loved. I didn't know how much I loved them at the time, but I really did love them. My granddad could see it in me. And apparently I was the only cousin that enjoyed that kind of stuff, because no one else was going with me and doing it. And so I was kind of always around him and doing that sort of thing. And as I grew up, it was always something that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But didn't really know how to set out and do it as a job. And that's, when in 2011, I quit a job in pharmaceutical sales and jumped into a garage and started building furniture and just went for it.
Right. And that's how you hooked up with Chip and Joanna Gaines.
Yeah.
So
Months later. Yeah.
Yeah. They got to know you that way. Baylor, though, you had a Baylor connection, right?
I did go to Baylor.
Yeah.
Yeah. In
So
1996.
that's a pretty significant
Yes.
connection with them as well.
Yeah.
When you're talking about what you were doing as a kid, what your relative was with the old buildings, I loved watching that series where you would take one apart and move it somewhere
Restoration
else
Road.
and
Yes, ma'am.
totally restore it, and the old handwriting that would be on the timbers and stuff.
Yes. Yeah, that was such a fascinating thing to be able to do. And earlier when I was talking about my granddad and, the ironic part of it with him doing what he was doing, Little did I know that years later, I would be going to places
What
like
would he
Virginia.
say?
Oh my gosh! I mean, he would have loved it.
He would have lost his mind.
It's really. I mean, it's really sad that he was already gone when I
Yeah.
started making that show. He knew I was building furniture. He's a reason why I actually had some tools, because he sent me
Okay.
$1,250 in the mail after seeing some photos of some pieces that I've made with
Mm-hmm.
minimal tools, and he sent me some money in the mail to buy some actual tools. This
Yeah.
was back in 2005,
Yeah.
long before I was going to do this full time, and so he knew I was building furniture, but he had passed away before. At like 91, 92 years old, before I actually started making Restoration Road. But if he had been around, oh my gosh, he would have absolutely loved it. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, that was his thing. And how like ironic and amazing that
Yeah.
years later, I was literally doing what he was doing,
Yeah.
just on TV, and
Sharing it with the wider
just
world,
right,
which was
right.
so fascinating
Yeah.
for us. So, what was the first piece of furniture you made? I mean, what was it you made? Was it a box, or
No,
was it a class you took, or you just sort of figured something out?
so I did take a class in high school, and I remember I made a trash can. It was like one of those things where everybody made a trash can.
Okay,
And
it was
so,
like shop.
yeah, it was a shop
Okay.
class. Yeah, and back when you still had that in high school, and
Yeah, I
and
mean, the-
I would love to see that come back more because it's such an important trade. But I made a trash can, and I really loved it. But that was kind of it. I didn't do really much with it after that. And then the first thing that I made really as a young adult, when I really started to go, hey, this is like something I want to do, is back in 2005. And I made 2 standing desks. Just like,
Really?
yeah, which is really weird. Just like, it was just desks with like long legs on them. That was it. And they were,
People weren't hearing too much about that
Yeah.
that far. I mean, it just seems
I'm
like
ahead of
that's
my
more of a
time.
recent. You were ahead of your time talking about standing desks.
you know what is funny? I actually worked in Dallas at a job where I was sitting down all the time.
Uh-huh.
And I wanted standing desks in the office because
Yeah.
I'm a runner. I like
Mhm.
literally I run. And so I like to be moving and doing stuff. And so it was hard just sitting
Just
in a desk.
sitting, yeah.
So I wanted something like that. So I think that's where the inspiration came from. So I built these 2 desks. I remember I painted them green. I made a slot in the front, like a hole in the front skirt for a drawer, and never made the drawer
Oh.
for either one of them. So I turned the desk around so that hole was facing the wall. So I made those 2 things, and I made a table for my wife that I still have to this day, and also an armoire or an armoire, however you say
Did
that.
you really? Yeah.
I mean, a very simple cabinet. And yeah, I made them both on my back porch at our little house on Ross Avenue in Dallas, Texas, with a circular saw, a drill, and maybe I had one other very simple tool, and that was it. Yeah, and then it went from there.
Yeah. So how did the Gaineses get connected with you?
Well, yeah, you mentioned Baylor, so I didn't know them when I was at Baylor. Looking back, I remember having interactions with them. One, I literally did drop my car off at Jerry Stevens
Jerry
Firestone.
Stevens, yeah, I heard
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah, and I'm pretty sure
Right.
she was working
She was
there.
probably at the desk. Yeah.
Yeah. Either her or maybe her sister,
Yeah.
and so there was that, and then I do remember walking into like Pinland Cafeteria or something, and seeing a bunch of baseball players. Chip, of course, was on the baseball team, and I'm like almost certain I remember a time seeing him
Right.
at a table, but that was it. Never any like interaction, excuse me, with them. But no, years later when we moved to Waco, it was literally just having dinner with some friends here when we first moved back, and one of the friends used to work with Chip. And he said, when I told him I wanted to build furniture, but I needed a shop, he was like, you should call my friend Chip.
Yeah.
And so he gave me Chip's number, and I gave Chip a
Okay.
call. But Chip didn't pick up. I left a message, and that was it. and 4 months later, we were living in Waco, and I was volunteering with Habitat for Humanity. And my grandmother back in Atlanta used to work for Jimmy Carter.
Yeah.
And so
That was his signature
that's
charity.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. And so I didn't know what to do when we moved here.
Yeah.
And
What brought you to Waco?
Kelly got a chance to get her master's
Oh,
at,
okay.
at Baylor.
So she was a
and
student.
and so we moved back to Waco from Houston. We knew we wanted to get out of Houston, and so we moved back here. She was going to Baylor getting her master's, and I was volunteering with Habitat because I literally felt like it was an urging from the spirit of my grandmother, like go work for Habitat, give a little back to the Carters. I have pictures with Jimmy Carter as a kid. I got to
really?
meet him a couple times and just love the Carters so much and everything they stand for. Just a big fan and admirer of both he and Rosalind. And so anyways, I'm volunteering with Habitat. We run out of money, and I've told the story 1,000 times, so forgive me if you've already heard it, but I have this horrible day where I'm like, this was the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life. Why did I quit my job in sales, making six figures, and, sell our house and move to Waco and start volunteering, which doesn't pay anything.
No.
If you notice how that works.
They could pay you double in it.
Yeah,
it
would.
Yeah. It wouldn't matter.
I demand a raise. Okay. Sure. We'll pay you more. So anyways, so I basically have this day where I'm like, this was the dumbest thing I've ever done. And I park in front of this house that was abandoned that my wife one day had said, Kelly had said, hey, we should remodel this house one day. And I was like, I mean, I'd love that. That'd be so fun, but we have no money or whatever. And by the way, the realtor on that house was Camille Johnson. So bookmark that.
Why
for a
does
second.
that not surprise me?
And so anyways, we had kind of thought about that, not seriously because we didn't have any money, but it was just like, we're just dreamers. We are, that's just who we are. And I call her from that house and I was like, Kelly, this is horrible. This is the worst day. We're out of money. Like, we're out of time. I should not have done this, whatever. And she's like, well, let's go to the park. And I always tell the joke that in my mind, I think I probably was thinking, like, is there a job fair at the park that I don't know about? Like, why do you want to go to the park, And she literally was like, let's take the kids to the park. So we just went to the park with the kids. And after we played at the park for a little bit, we got in the car and the gas light came on. And I was like, dang it, I need to get some gas and we have no money. And so we go and I'm not a financial advisor, and we just take a credit card and like put some gas in. We have no option,
What else
like,
are you gonna do?
yeah. And so we put some gas in, and while we were waiting for the tank to fill up, this black truck pulled in front of me, and on the side of it, it said Magnolia, and it parked right on the other side of the same pump as me. And I go, Kelly, isn't that company of that guy that our friend gave me the number of? Is his name Chip or whatever? Isn't that his company? And she's like, yeah, I think so. And I was like, maybe I should get out and see if they know him or, because he never called me back. And she's like, sure. So I get out and I just I'm a football guy. So I just think, let's throw a Hail Mary. Let's just, why not? And I get out and I tell this guy at the other side of the pump, I say, hey, my name's Clint. I called. I was, like looking for a shop and I want to build furniture and I'm volunteering for Habitat. And someone told me to call y'all because there's this guy named Chip or whatever. And I honestly, and I kid you not, I didn't know really any of the details. I thought Chip worked for Magnolia. I didn't know Chip was Magnolia. I really didn't know much. I'm new to Waco. I didn't really know anything. And the guy stops me as I'm explaining all this and he goes, well, let me stop you there. I'm Chip. And let's talk. And I was like, oh, great. And so we just kind of like had a little convo. And he's like, look, take your family home, come over to my shop on Bosque, the little shop, the original.
The little place. Yeah.
Yep. And we'll get my truck and just kind of hang out and, talk. And I was like, okay.
Oh my gosh. I did not know that story.
Yeah. So I went and got in his truck over at the little shop on Bosque and we drove around and and just chatted about stuff. He mentioned his wife. He called her JoJo.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never met her. And he said she wanted to add furniture to her little product line. And would I be interested, in talking to her? And I was like, heck yeah, like, absolutely, And so, like, 2 or 3 nights later, we had dinner at their house, and I met Joanna for the first time with Kelly and the kids, and we were sitting having dinner, and the kids.
Is that when they were still over on Cedar Ridge?
Carriage Square.
Oh,
yeah,
Is
that
that's
Cedar Ridge? Okay.
Well, Cedar Ridge is that one, right?
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
It's kind of
okay.
on the side of it.
Okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
I know the house.
That
yeah,
one, yes.
Yeah.
And so, we're sitting there, and the kids are off playing, and Joanna said, "Hey, let me ask you something. Like, if I just sketched out a couple of drawings. I love the train going by in the back. So quintessentially Waco.
Yes,
I love it. Even at the top floor of the Alico building, you can hear it everywhere. Anyways, she says, "Hey, Clint, if I just draw out a few sketches on, a piece of paper, do you think you could build them?" Now, my tools are in storage. I have no shop. I don't have any money to buy lumber or anything, but I just immediately was like, yeah, you bet.
Yeah.
And so we left that dinner. A couple days later, I go back to Habitat. I went into John Alexander's office, who's the director.
Sure.
Love John.
Yeah.
And I said, John, I finally have someone to build furniture for, but I just need a shop. Do you know of any place, And he was like, yeah, actually, we have a little shop on 15th Street. We're not using it anymore. I'll rent it to you. And I'm thinking, okay, this is great. But he says it's 1,600 square feet. And I was like, oh, crud.
It's going to be expensive.
Yeah. And he's like, I tell you what, how about $50 a month? Yeah.
I'll sign up for 2 months.
Yeah. I was like, well, that's above my,
Oh, my goodness.
my budget. But
wow.
no, that's, yeah. Anyways, so I said that's great. Like, what else do you say? But thank you. And so I started renting that shop from him. And the next thing you know, I'm building furniture for Joanna in that shop. And then she comes by one day and she tells me, a production company called me and they want to make a show.
So they hadn't even started doing the show yet.
No.
Okay,
This was, this was way, but they didn't know. Well, I shouldn't say way before, because I only had known them maybe 3 or 4 months or so.
Mm-hmm.
But
it was all just kind of coming together at once.
When I met them, and when the production company called them, was only maybe a few months or so. So it all happened really fast. So that's the very short version, believe it or not.
I love hearing that. I did
Isn't
not
that crazy?
know. I knew some of it, but anyway. We've got to take a break.
Yeah.
I'm way past taking a break.
Okay.
But we're going to do that when we come back. I want to hear so much more about it and how Camille Johnson fits into some of this.
Yes.
So stay with us. There is more of the show ahead.
This is what $500,000 in a duffel bag looks like. Actually not real. That's because it's actually prop money. It looks realistic from a distance, but up close you can see it says for motion picture purposes. Visit propmoney.com today to get your money seen or money shot right with Prop Money Inc.
Ready for a better kind of primary care?
At Patient First Direct Primary Care, you get unlimited office visits with same-day or next-day availability.
And instead of rushed appointments, we take the time to actually listen.
There are no insurance hassles, just clear, simple care.
You can reach us by phone or text because access shouldn't be complicated. Our practice has expanded to include Medicare-age patients as part of our direct primary care model.
It's a fresh alternative to the traditional insurance or government-driven systems, care that finally puts you first.
For more information, go to patientfirstdirect.com.
Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internix. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. That's INTERNXT.com today.
Today's show is brought to you by the Heart of Texas Home Builders Association. Don't miss this year's Home Products Show. It's January 31st and February 1st at the base at the Extraco Event Center. You'll see everything from home construction to remodeling, start to finish. Tickets are $5 at the door. I'll see you there.
Welcome to Kitbag, the ultimate destination for football fans. Whether you're cheering for Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United, or any other top club, for true football passion, think Kitbag. Visit kitbag.com today. That's KITBAG.com. kit bag.
It's time to start something new at Allen Samuels. Drive in with huge savings on all of our Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram vehicles. From the trail-conquering Jeep Grand Cherokee, towing in style with a Ram Heavy Duty, or cruising the city in a sporty and luxurious Ram 1500, we've got the perfect ride for you. Stop by Allen Samuels in Waco, where we make car buying easy.
Come by, let's be friends.
Since 2014, we've been creating vegan, clean, and affordable skincare with proven actives and potent botanicals designed to treat your ever-changing skin. Celebrate our first decade of transformation today at facetheory.com/US-EN. Face Theory.
Serving Central Texas since 1889, TFNB Your Bank for Life takes pride in being more than a bank. TFNB, we remain committed to these principles. If you value them too, come join us. TFNB, your bank for life.
Tasmanian spring water range from Sand and Sky. This range is really good for dry and dehydrated skin like myself, packed with 2 types of hyaluronic acid, fermented sea kelp to reduce redness, and my skin feels so dewy and so hydrated.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct. I let in the sun rays, more of the heat stays. Universal Windows Direct.
Right now, buy one window, get the next one free, plus no interest and no payments for 24 months.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
And we are back with Clint Harp. I mean, I've been knowing of you, well, since the very first Fixer Uppers that you made appearances on. And Joanna Gaines would say, I need this. And she would come with her little drawing, and you'd go, oh, yeah, okay, fine. Okay, got it. You know, and the next thing you know, you're carrying it into the house. But all that, you know, was just so important in your career, I'm sure. And and then a launch pad for these other shows that you were able to do. I mentioned a movie, a feature-length movie.
Yeah.
So tell me about the author.
You know what? That was a project that my college roommate did.
Yeah.
Richie Cable went to Baylor. We were roommates together for 3 years. And you know, he was my buddy. I mean, we did everything together, you know, in college, and of course, then you graduate and everybody goes their separate ways, and we've kept up. And he did a short film, or I think he did a shorter film. But anyways, he wanted to do like a full length film, and he wrote it, and he called me to look at the script, and then we talked about me being a part of it, actually acting in it, and and so I acted in it, which was really fun. Hey, all right, yeah,
for sure.
That's right. Yeah, it was really, really fun. Yeah, there's some movies coming out of Waco now. You know, have you know about? I'm going to say this wrong because I don't really know. Sam Henderson's movie, Ado, or it's Ado. Ado. Have you heard about this? Yeah, no. It's on the Oscar shortlist. I kid you not. Yeah. I coached his daughter in basketball at Waco Montessori with my daughter for 3 years. We've known them for a very long time. His wife works at Baylor. He works at Baylor. And he made a movie, and it is like tearing it up. And it's incredible. It's a short film.
Really interested in learning more about that.
I've got
Damon Crump is coming on the show in the coming weeks. He a filmmaker that I've known for a long time, production guy, and there are a lot of there's a lot happening with the Waco Indie Film Fest.
Yes,
and and everything that those guys are doing. So
That's very cool.
There's a lot of stuff happening like that. So when you were involved in obviously you've done television and how, you know, I think people have misconception about what doing a show is like, you know, because they see on TV the finished product,
right?
There's a lot of sitting around and waiting and.
Oh my gosh, you know, with Fixer Upper, for me, there was some sitting around and waiting. Usually, if they were filming at the shop, you know, I still had stuff to do while they were like setting up, so I could usually like kind of keep working.
You could work, yeah.
And then when I was delivering something to Joanna or whatever, it was, really quick because it was like so much was going on. So I would pull up, drop my thing off, and then get out of there. Sometimes I would have to wait around because of the scene they were already filming or whatever was going a little long or whatever. With Restoration Road, however, now that was a different story. That was 4 years, 5 seasons of traveling around the country to some very cold places.
Well, I remember the train car you did in Idaho?
Yep, in Idaho.
Yeah.
Yep. Very cold.
Very interesting.
Yeah,
place.
and
you'd make repeated. I got the impression you were doing repeated trips.
Each episode was at least 3 trips.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a
not
lot of
surprising,
travel. It was not an easy show to make, and that show there was a lot of sitting around and what do they say? Hurry up and wait.
Hurry
a
up and wait,
lot of hurrying up and waiting, but still really fun to make. And in the end, I just learned, so much.
Yeah, the gentleman that you worked with
a lot. Yeah, Kevin. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kevin. He interesting
knows
fellow.
a lot about history and barns and construction and all of that stuff. I mean, he's kind of a wealth of knowledge, and I did a lot with him and a bunch with the other builders all across the country too, and some in the older generation and some of the younger, which is really fun to see.
That is good.
Some of these young folks getting into it.
Why do you think it's important to restore? So so much of what life is just so plow it down, just knock it down.
Yep. So one of the things that I would always talk about with this show that I was making, Restoration Road, when I was making it, was I wanted to know all the history. And so that's the history that is, good and shiny and you can wrap up in a bow and it's like, wee, yay. And also I wanted to know the history that was not shiny and you couldn't wrap it up in a bow and it was complicated. And I fought really hard to get that kind of history on the show, which wasn't always easy. But that was the kind of stuff that I was really interested in because
the whole story.
The whole story, absolutely. Because I think the more we look at our past, the better we become as people. We can look at it and, understand things better. We don't have to be afraid of it. We live in this world now where it's like we want to fake it and act like everything's great and everything's fine, and it's not great, and it hasn't been great for a lot of people for a very long time, and it's continuing not to be great for them at all. And so I really wanted to learn about that history. And the houses, for me, I wanted to preserve those because those are a part of our history that if we lose them, they are gone forever. Like, that's it. And it's honestly just like the history that we don't want to talk about. If we don't talk about it, then we're going to lose it, right? Yeah. Like, it's going to fade away. There are parts of this planet that we're living on that we'll never know about because the history just faded away. And it's gone. It's erased. It's written on a cave wall somewhere, and we'll never find it, And so we have to keep talking about this stuff. And these buildings, we need to keep them around. They are built from trees that are literally 500, 600 years old. Yeah. The barn themselves may be 200 years old, right? But it was built from, a tree that was growing in a virgin forest, as they call it. So we just have these forests that are just full of trees that have never been cut down. They just grew. The eastern seaboard, there's books that talk about how it was the greatest collection of hardwoods ever on the face of the planet. And the Dutch first, but then the English came over and just cut it all down. And people would be surprised to know that, like, the Catskills in New York, all these mountain ranges that we know about, completely clear cut at one point in our history, because we came over and, Great Britain, that's an island. They needed lumber. They had run out.
Right.
So they came over here and we were shipping lumber back to the UK faster than you can even imagine.
Yeah.
It wasn't until Roosevelt was president and we got to like around Idaho to when he was like, I think we need to pump the brakes here, everybody, because we're going to lose all of these wonderful trees. And so that's why we still have the redwood forests and some, amazing cedars farther west. But all of these trees that we had were used for barns. And many of those barns were burned down because that was the best way to win a war. Was to cut people's food supply. So you would burn their barns and their hay and all of that stuff, because the barn was one of the first things that you built if you were a settler, because you needed a place to store your hay, keep your animals warm, et cetera, et cetera. So, there aren't that many of them left. One of the most amazing and beautiful kinds of barns that you will find is a Dutch barn. They're amazing. And
a certain configuration.
Right.
And how they look. You know what you're looking at when you see a Dutch barn.
Yes. And Kevin, who I did so many shows with, would always talk about the fact that they say that there are more Stradivarius violins left in the world than there are Dutch barns.
Really?
Yeah. And, these are trees that once we lose them, Anne, they're gone. We will never, imagine what you'd have to do. You'd have to plant trees right now and say you can never cut these millions of acres down for 500 years. And then in that time, we have to continue to pass on these trades of hand hewing logs and into timbers. Like you have to also keep that going. It's not going to happen. So to me, it was really important to keep those, to keep those structures. And I was glad I get to be a part of it.
Oh gosh, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
So it was hard work. It was great.
Yes.
It was a wonderful gift, really.
Yes.
Restoration Road. So what got you into real estate?
Well, so I did the show for a long time. Fixer Upper, was a 5-season chapter for me, and then Restoration Road was a 5-season chapter for me, and so then it was like, okay, what next? Yeah. And so now I'm working on a few different projects, but one of them was getting my real estate license, because it really falls in line with, what I've been doing for many years now, because my wife and I have remodeled many houses, and
Did you ever get that house she was talking about that you were parked in front, and she goes, that one didn't happen.
The pink house. No, we didn't.
Okay.
It played its purpose, but we did not ever get it.
All
yeah. Right. And anyways, so we've bought houses, flipped them, sold them, all that stuff. And I love that world. And so it made sense for me to, get my, my real estate license, to have that tool in my bag. And I went and talked to a friend of mine, Jonathan Grant. You may or may not. Yeah, Jonathan, kind of a local legend around here. He was on the school board for years. He's done a lot of amazing things. Great guy. He's a friend of mine. Our sons played football together over at Waco High. And I sat down with him as I was looking to get my real estate license. And I was like, hey, here's what I'm looking to do. Tell me about the real estate world. Like, am I crazy for wanting to do this? Whatever. Well, he starts telling me about the fact that I knew he was with Camille Johnson, but he'd also started this new group called the 254 group. And he was telling me what he wanted to accomplish with it, what it really was. And people were like, later, as I've told people about this, they're like, so wait, is that you're not with Camille? And no. Camille Johnson Realty, she is our broker, but within a brokerage, you're able to start little groups if you want, like teams. And so he created his own team called the 254 Realty Group. And he, was like, hey, after we met a couple times, he's like, I'm looking for a partner, actually, because I can't do this on my own. Like, I could, but I don't think it would be as good as it could be. And I want to build a team. Yeah. And he's like, what do you think? And I was like, absolutely. And it just made all the sense. So I became partners with him in that. And so now we have the 254 Realty Group. We're about to open up actually our own office.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, on Washington Avenue, which I'm really excited about. It's actually, where the MC Art Supplies, that's the building that we're.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they moved to 1124 Washington Avenue. and just down the street, and we're moving into the old
Good.
Yeah, and so MC Art Supplies building. But anyway, so yeah, Jonathan and I are doing that, and we're adding agents to our team, and yeah, just having an absolute blast. And by the way, you know, when I got my real estate license, I mean, Camille was the first person that I thought about.
Yeah.
Because when we moved to Waco, there was that little, not little, but it was, you know, kind of little house on, I think it was Oriental, over in Castle Heights, a little pink house, kind of adobe style. And we had called her about that house, and Camille actually sat down with us. So sweet. We literally were like, we don't have any money. And we were like, I think we might have offered like $50,000 for the house because it was in horrible shape. And she was like, oh, and she was really so sweet about it. She's like, oh, yeah, no, that like my clients can't, you know, like it's not a situation like that. Like they need to, you know, there is a number that they do have to make here, and that's not even close. And but she didn't laugh us out of the room or anything. Like she's
so tactful. Yeah.
She's so wonderful, and I'll never forget that interaction that I had with her. And so when I got my real estate license, or when I was getting it, I immediately, I mean, I was like, Camille's going to be one of the first people that I call because she's just so wonderful, and obviously her reputation around Waco is, you know, amazing. So
well, that is exciting. I like to end these little chats with a questionnaire similar to the one the late great James Lipton would use on Inside the Actor Studio. Since you're an actor, what is your favorite word?
Oh my gosh, my favorite word. Wow, you really stumped me. Is eggnog a word?
That's a good one. I like that.
I'm kidding. Oh gosh, I don't know. Maybe my favorite word would be. You know what? Let's go with table, actually.
Okay, yeah. I like that.
Table.
I love it. I love it. I love
there
it.
It is. You stumped me. I had to think about that. I had a lot of funny ones going around in my mind right now.
Well, so what's your least favorite word?
Squirt or moist.
Okay, I've heard moist before.
Yeah.
I've heard that before.
Yeah.
What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Running.
Good.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, I've got to go for a run. And when I get out and I go run, that's when like my creative juices start flowing. I think about the world a lot of times in music videos. And so I always run with music. And so I might see something that I'm about to do in the form of a music video.
Really?
Which I know is like kind of weird.
That's kind of cool.
And it never necessarily plays out like that video. Obviously, a lot of times when we think of videos and music videos, they're probably more heroic than they ever actually are in real life, the situations. But things sort of play out with musical backgrounds for me. And so, when I go running, that is when I really get creative. And if I need to get creative, I throw on the running shoes and I go.
What turns you off creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Fake.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hated, and like so much, I hated doing the reveals on Restoration Road. Because you had to go in and do this whole kind of song and dance of like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And I actually pitched this idea of like how to do the reveals, which would let the viewer take in more of the finished product and also just show me kind of more like admiring what was going on. And I would be using less words. And that idea was quickly thrown to the wayside, unfortunately. And so I had to do those. And I always, it's not that I really did like them. I did like the finished products a lot of times.
Oh, yeah. No, I know.
But you just have to turn it on in a way to where you can't really just like take it in and like give someone an honest feedback or let other people have their own kind of feedback. When someone's saying, oh my gosh, this is amazing. It's like, you don't have room to go, I don't think I like that color, you know?
I know.
But yeah, anything fake, I just really crave authenticity.
Yeah.
And as I kind of branch out into some other new projects that I'm working on right now, what I'm really so excited about, 2 projects that I have going on that, you know, they'll be kind of a little bit down the road, is that I have creative control, which I didn't have that with the shows that I was making, which is, you know, understandable. But now I will, and that's important to me because I really crave authenticity. I love it when people are real. I'm a crier. I love to cry. I'm not afraid to cry. I think it's good when people let their emotions out.
Yeah.
And in a world of AI and in a world filled...
You don't necessarily know what's real and what's not.
It's really wild, Ann. I mean, it's really, really wild. So, yeah, that's what... fake turns me off.
Okay. What is your favorite sound?
Right now, it's silence. I love music, like, big time. And I love to hear my kids laugh. My wife has a great laugh, like a fantastic laugh. I love laughing. But I'm not going to lie, there's so much noise. We take in so much constantly that for me, when I lay in bed at night and just everything is quiet, that is truly one of the greatest sounds to me. But I will also give you there's two actual sounds. One, I always grew up around a river, so I love the sound of a running river. Oh my gosh, I absolutely
I hear that
love
from
it.
a lot of people. Running water, yeah.
And then musically, I'm a sucker for a melody. So if I hear a song and the melody really catches me, I will listen to that song over and over again and for a while, because I really, really love melodies. And my wife laughs at me and also I'm sure gets on her nerves. I know it does. That I sometimes get a little too stuck on a melody, and I love to whistle.
Yeah.
And I'll whistle it, and she'll go,
Okay.
and she'll be in the other room. She'll go, "Hey, Clint, can we find another refrain?"
Giving me an earworm. Thank you very much.
Bless her heart. She puts up with a lot.
So what's the least favorite sound?
Oh. All right, I won't get political. There's a certain voice that I don't even listen to it if it comes on, and I hate interpretations or impersonations, even impersonation. I can't listen. I can't.
Okay.
All right, I won't go there. Okay, no. My least favorite sound. I'm gonna go with. Why? This shouldn't take me long at all. I knew this right away. Oh, I was thinking totally different. This is easy. Mouth noises, like someone chewing.
Oh, yeah.
That's actually a condition that I've heard people talk about. There's a name for it. And
for someone who can't stand to hear that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had
It's
a
a whole
hairdresser. She had a sign that said, "No chewing gum." She couldn't stand if a client came in chewing gum.
Yes. Yeah.
No, I've heard of that before.
That makes me want to,
So what job or career would you have liked to have tried or may still want to try?
I've forever, well, first of all, I wanted to be an athlete. I wanted to play baseball growing up. And that I realized that was not going to happen. I run a lot, and I'm training right now. I think I'm going to run the marathon, which is I'm really excited about. I would have loved and still would love to be a professional athlete and have someone telling me you have to do this every day. And this is my day. I'm training, I'm sweating. Right. I love all that stuff. But what I thought I was going to do with my life, Ann, I thought I was going to make music. And
really?
I sang and played the guitar for years and years, and thought that was going to be my life. And clearly it was not. But
had no idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
I love it.
Out of college,
You need to come back maybe and play.
Oh gosh, yeah, it's
Play
been a
and
while,
sing.
Ann. It's been a while.
We'll get you on Zach Owens' show.
Okay.
Here you go.
Perfect.
Go and be one of the musical guests.
Yes. Yeah.
One last question then.
Okay.
When you arrive at the pearly gates, what do you want to hear the Lord say to you, Clint Harp?
Oh my gosh, I can get really sacrilegious, Ann, so I got to be really careful. I have to be really careful. I would love to hear the words, Clint, you were right. I really didn't give a crap about football or any outcomes of sports. And I honestly hated it that everybody prayed
for their
and
Baylor Bears to do
yes,
whatever.
yeah, I'm like, God doesn't care.
That's funny.
Really,
I always wondered if you had TCU and Baylor playing, how's he going to pick? Because they're both Christian schools, supposedly.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's
Yeah.
funny. That is
Yeah.
so funny. You are a delight. I'm so happy we got this chance
Thanks,
to
Ann.
visit. I've learned so much about you that I didn't know, and
thank you so much.
just filled in a lot of blanks about all the fixer-upper years and the ones following. You're just a pleasure, and so a wonderful new year as we're plowing into 2026.
Can't believe it.
I know. Here we are.
I know. Years that we a while back would have thought these were like untouchable.
I know.
Like we're going to be in the 2020s one day. Like what?
What?
Yeah, I know. And here we are.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Ann.
Stay with us. There is more of the show ahead.
It's the Restore Clarity Focus Patch, my little secret weapon for staying sharp, focused, and on task. Each box comes with simple instructions inside, so you always know exactly how to apply it. Each patch lasts for 3 days. I love that I can wear it all day.
The Texas Track and Field Coaches Association is hosting their annual conference at the Extraco Event Center on January 9th through the 10th with a pole vault event on the second day. The Texas Track and Field Coaches Association focuses on promotion, education, communication, and recognition, producing some of the best track and field clinics in the state with some of the most influential coaches giving back to the track and field community. Extraco Event Center is also hosting a convention for the Texas High School Baseball Coaches Association on January 12th and 13th. Over the past 49 years, the association has grown in every division of baseball and is one of the fastest growing baseball associations in the country with over 3,700 members. The Texas High School Baseball Coaches Association works hard to promote membership and further its members' knowledge and awareness of baseball at all levels. The staff currently handles concerns with issues, rules changes, umpire-coach relations, recognition of players, coaches throughout award programs, and so much more. I'm Elizabeth Riley with Act Locally Waco, and I will see you next time.
Launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. That's ULIKE.com. You like.
Hey guys, Clint Harp here in Waco, Texas at my shop, Harp Design Co.
The journey of getting to this place where I'm building furniture every day, for me, is really the story.
My love for woodworking really began as a young kid as I watched my granddad use his own hands to build homes in the Atlanta area where I'm from. Growing up with that obviously instills a passion for that sort of thing, and in my DNA is a desire to build with my hands. Now I get to do it every day like my granddad did.
I did a ton of different jobs, from being a youth minister to a medical salesman to a janitor, but they all led me to the place where I finally was at a point where I wanted to go for my dream, which is building furniture full time. But I finally did make that decision in May of 2011 to actually quit my job and starting a business with my wife Kelly. It was an emotional day for sure, because it meant that there was no longer going to be a steady paycheck. The six-figure income was going to be long gone. And she was all on board, 100% supportive, even though it was completely crazy. So we moved out here to Waco in December of 2011 and set up camp. Things didn't really work out as I had hoped. I had some money in savings with Kelly, and we planned for that to last us a certain amount of time, and it really ran out quicker, as you can imagine. called Kelly and said, this is just not good. I don't think we've made the right decision here. She said, let's go to the park. I was, why, Kelly? Why are we going to the park? I need to go look for a job. I need to go look for a job. Apply for something, somewhere, anything. And she said, let's go to the park. When we were done hanging out, we got back in the car, and the light came on saying, go get gas. So we went to the gas station, and I put the pump in, and I got back in the car, and I'm sitting there waiting. And as I'm waiting, this black truck pulled in front of me, and it said Magnolia on the side. And I looked at Kelly, and I said, isn't that the company of the guy that I called, Chip or something like that, right? And she's like, yeah, I think so. And so I'm thinking, Hail Mary time. Why not? Let's go for it. I get out. Hey, my name's Clint. I called you guys a while back looking for this guy, Chip. I don't know if he even still works for you. I'm looking for him. I want to build furniture. Could you help me? And he said, well, I'll tell you what, I'm Chip Gaines. 7 or 8 months after that moment, meeting him at the gas station, Chip and Joanna were filming a pilot for HGTV, and I was rolling along as the sidekick carpenter, and the rest is kind of history. Joanna and I really developed a relationship, working together, a designer-builder kind of relationship. She had a few ideas for some tables that she wanted me to build. She was selling goods out of her home. And so she said, hey, if I draw some stuff on a piece of paper, just a few basic designs, do you think you can kind of riff off of that and make those come to life? And I was like, sure, why not? But it was a fun evolution of, designer-builder relationship. It was cool to be a part of. When Kelly and I first started Harp Design Co., it was she and I. Here we are today, and we're about somewhere between 25 and 30 employees. We're growing every day, and it's amazing. Obviously, in large part to being on Fixer Upper and just how well received that show was on HGTV. It did amazing things, not only for the Gaines, but for us as well. When we got an opportunity to do our own show, Woodwork, on the DIY network, it opened up the possibility for us to do more of something that we love to do around here, which is custom work. Clients were able to come to us and say, hey, I've always wanted this. And we're like, great, let's do it. On our show, we were able to do things as, kind of amazing but simple as an entertainment center, triple-decker bunk bed situation, or a ping pong table. There's an amazing thing that happens in our brains and in our souls when we tap into that creativity that was planted there when we were born, and we start playing around with that creativity and that power inside of us to make things. Man, I just think beautiful stuff starts to happen, and to see people get inspired by the things that we're doing just makes every splinter in my hand worth it.
Watch this.
Layups, floaters, threes. He was like an unsolvable equation.
I was born like this.
His resilience, his strength, his belief, adversity never stood a chance.
Know your power.
We offer fast shipping, exceptional customer support, and furniture solutions that stand up to high traffic environment. Elevate your space with BizChair's vast selection of stylish, reliable, and cost-effective furniture. Visit us today at bizchair.com to transform your business.
Experience with the Bosley MD hair regrowth kit was amazing. It was easy to use. It let me take off my hat. I could go in public and have my picture taken and feel normal again.
BosleyMD.com.
Understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Visit TwoSains.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.